So hi everyone, my name is Emily Men, and I'm a stylist and I'm a designer, and I'm also editor of my blog and wardrobes. And I'm really excited to be here and a little nervous, but and very honored to speak alongside all of the extremely talented people that you guys have seen today. And basically I'm just here to talk about my experience in the industry and about how crucial communication is to your success. And so basically with a little background about myself is I was born and raised in Texas, in Dallas, Texas. And growing up I wasn't fully exposed to my creativity in the arts, especially in fashion. And so I always knew that I wanted to work in fashion. I wasn't exactly sure exactly what in fashion I wanted to do, but I just knew that that was like what I wanted to do. And it was hard because I came from a traditional family. And you know, they wanted us to all have like more stable careers, like lawyers, doctors, and that's all great, but I just knew I wanted to work in fashion. So despite not getting like complete approval from my parents, I knew what I wanted to do, and I basically was like, okay, I know I want to work in fashion. Like I only applied to FITM, the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in California. That was like the only college I applied to. I was like, you know, I just know this is like what I want to do. And so I ended up getting in, which was amazing, and I decided to major in merchandise product development and business management. And I thought it was good because I wanted to learn the business side along with the creative aspect of everything. And so even though I got a great education at FITM, and I think what you learn in school is like amazing, for me personally, I think that work experience is so important, and I just knew that I wanted to learn as much as I could, and I wanted to really just be hands-on and working. And like for me, I really think I learned more in work than in school, but I still think school is like very important. But so then I knew I wanted to work, like I said, and so then I applied for like a million internships. I still wasn't sure exactly what, so then I applied for like buying internships, styling, design, like PR, like pretty much everything. And so the first person I heard back from was Brenda Cooper, and she's best known for she's an Emmy award-winning stylist for the Fran Dresser's show The Nanny, and she's also Fran Dresser's personal stylist. So I got an email from her for an interview because Fran was doing like a talk show and she needed a wardrobe assistant intern. And so after my second interview, like I was able to, you know, she offered me the position, so I was like super excited. And that for me was really exciting because it was really like, it was my first internship, and you know, I really like, it was the first time I was able to be on set. It was the first time that like I really experienced like what it was to work and like, you know, to pull clothes, like all the behind the scenes action. So it was just really cool. And we learned everything from, or I learned everything from like, you know, the pulling, the returning, even down to things like budgeting. But yeah, so then after working for Brenda for about a semester, I knew that like styling was what I was interested in, and so I kind of like streamlined it a little more, and so I was only looking for styling internships. And so then I saw that Joey Tierney, who's this celebrity stylist, she's best known for like, she styled like Britney Spears, Ashley McGee, Rose Byrne, Audrina Patridge, Diana Argon, like there's several people, Seth Green, the list goes on. But anyways, most of my core knowledge of styling, like I learned from her because she gave me lots of hands-on responsibility, which it was really rare that a stylist is gonna let like an intern go in and like do the polls, like do the requesting for the jobs, and she really trusted and believed in me, which was amazing because I learned so much from her, and I learned really like in depth, like building onto what I learned from Brenda, like, you know, the main things from styling. And but yeah, so then I interned for Joy for a year, and then at this point, like I was about to graduate FITM, and I was looking for my new job venture, and then through my first internship with Brenda, I worked with one of my good friends, Lindsay Pogge-Miller, and you know, we still stay in contact, we're still really good friends, but she went on to become Rachel Zoe's styling intern, and then later on her style director. And so my main reason for sharing that is really that, like, we worked together at my first internship, and I just think it's so important that you really stay in touch with colleagues and with friends. So staying in touch with colleagues and friends is really important because it's a huge asset to really advancing your career and yourself. Lindsay and I, like, we organically, we like hit it off right away, and so afterwards, you know, we stayed close, and she knew that I was still looking for more ways to explore and like work in styling, and so she was like, you know, Rachel has an open position, like, you want to come in for an interview, just see like how it goes. So I was able to, through my relationship with her, I was able to go into Rachel's office and interview, and then I was able to work under Rachel and the whole team for about a year. But the main thing is, it's like, I feel like a lot of people are hesitant or embarrassed sometimes to reach out or help when they are looking for opportunities, or they think it's like too much work to stay in contact with colleagues once they move on. But I just think that it's a huge mistake, because in my experience, most people are happy to help you, and if they can give you advice, or when you ask for it, or if you have a true connection with someone, you should maintain it. You never know where people will like really end up. The industry is very small, and you can really honestly never have too many friends. And so, you know, overall, like, a lot of people think stylists live a really glamorous filled life with celebrities and glitz, and the truth is, styling is a very, very demanding job, both physically and emotionally. And I worked really hard throughout my styling career because I wanted to be there to learn everything I could. I took on as much responsibility as they would give me, and it's so important to always do your best and work your hardest and really show everyone that you're excited to be there, you're grateful for the opportunity, you want to learn, and just all the skills and everything you do. It's so important to always have a good attitude no matter what, because, you know, everyone's stressed out, everyone's working for the same goals, but your attitude should always reflect it. And so how you present yourself is everything. I believe that the relationships that I've like cultivated with brands and PR companies during my time in styling helped me to get where I am today. And so through all the hours I put in, it really paid off, because I ended up getting hired on full time for both Joey and Rachel. But after styling for about 4 years, I still like wanted to learn more, and I knew I wanted more experience like outside of styling. So I knew that was time for a change. I wanted to learn more and like about design, and I always, of course, dreamed of having my own line, and I wanted to learn design at one of the best schools with all my favorite designers, which was Parsons here in New York. And so I really worked hard on my entrance project and portfolio, and so I ended up getting acceptance letter, which I was very excited about. And so mainly like the two goals I had when I moved to New York was I wanted to learn as much as I could in school and get as much experience as I could outside of school. And I had already cultivated like a lot of relationships through styling. And so the first thing I did was I reached out to a bunch of the contacts that I made from styling. And one of my favorite designers is Philip Blum, and we work with them all the time. And so I was just like, you know, I just moved out to New York, like I want to learn more in design, like any position you guys have open in the design department, like I'll take, like I just, you know, want more experience. And so, so then I ended up working in product development there, where I interned at Philip Blum for about a year. And so I was getting into learning like pattern making, sourcing, fabrics, trimming, sewing, and just all the elements of design and working in a design house. And then later on, I got an opportunity to intern for the editorial side of fashion. So I figured, you know, I'm in New York, I've always wanted to know what it's like to work at a magazine, and just, you know, I should really utilize the resources that I have here. So then I worked about a semester in the accessories department at Elle, just to like really see what it was about. I just wanted to learn as much as I could and just, I guess, like further my knowledge in like the whole industry. But so moving on, so then after I graduated Parsons, I started freelancing for the stylists that I had before. So then the relationships I made before, like I was still doing freelance jobs for Rachel and Joey, and on top of that, like I worked really hard at Philip, so then it really shows when you do work very hard because they've hired me on to freelance every season. And so then I'll kind of work like usually like at the end of every season to kind of help them when they like really need more people in the office. And so in between my freelance jobs is really when I started my fashion blog. And well, so really I finally started it because when, you know, throughout my career, people would always be like, oh, you know, like you should start your own blog and like really show your personal style and your personal point of view. And I was very hesitant at first because I'm a pretty like shy and like private person, and that's why I love like styling and design and like doing more of this behind the scenes work because I was comfortable back there and I was comfortable doing all those things. But you know, I always did want to showcase that kind of stuff, and that's like honestly like one of my biggest regrets, because I feel like it's like if I had started back there, like you can't like play that game really, but you know, that's why one of my advice is really like, if there's something you want to do, like if you want to start a blog and like, or if you want to like start trying to style or you know, whatever it is that you're trying to do, I think it's important to go ahead and just like do it and not really like waste your time like thinking about like the pros and cons. And because the blog for me in the beginning was really hard because I was worried too much about like, oh, like what if people aren't gonna like my outfit, or what if people are gonna like make fun of me or not like what I'm posting, or just things like that. And I feel like it's hard, I don't know, it's just like kind of like a mind game because it's like you really just, I'm still not comfortable 100%, but I've gotten a lot better because I just think about it as in a way that it's like, if you want to do it, just go and do it. And you should just like cancel all the noise really and just not think about like what other people are gonna think, because then you just waste time, and time goes by very fast, and you could have wasted like, I wanted to start a blog for probably like over like 4 to 5 years, and I finally started it March of 2015 because I was like, you know, I'm just gonna do it. And so basically, but really the like push that helped me start that was my brother and me, like we're best friends. And so he was like my biggest supporter, and he takes it on as more of a hobby, and he helps me and he helps photograph all my outfits. And so we came up with an idea of like doing a blog that showcased both men and women's looks. He has other career goals now, but he still makes appearances on the blog here and there, and I'm really glad that I had him around because he gave me the extra push and confidence that like I honestly really needed to really start it. And I feel like if you don't have that person that's there to like really like push you to do it, like you don't always need it, but for me like it was important. But I think just really go for it and just be your own independent like strong leader. And I don't know, like it's been great. Like we started in March 2015 mainly on outfits, and then it's transitioned very naturally to like beauty and then lifestyle, food, like decor, and just a complete really lifestyle blog. So to wrap it up really, looking back now, I think the most important thing and the biggest factor to my success has been really my work experience and the relationships that I've cultivated along the way. And taking jobs really wherever you can in the industry that you're interested in is very crucial, because knowing how to run your own business, I learned everything I could from every internship, every job I had. I sought out mentors everywhere. Relationships are really everything, and I know that everyone hates the word networking because sometimes it can be phony and forced, but that doesn't mean it has to be. Relationship building is really what leads to like a successful career. And that doesn't mean, you know, you have to be fake or anything like that, but you should really put effort into building like real, genuine relationships with people, and to treat everyone that you work with kindness and respect. And just like a small tip, and I feel like this is very like, but it's just like, you know, I've always written handwritten notes, and you hear it all the time, but it's like crazy the power of them, because it really shows like how grateful you are to have worked with this person. And like every opportunity, job, anything that's appropriate, I always make sure that I send it to someone after every person I meet really. It just really shows that you really appreciate them, and I think it's like, it's very special to them. So no matter what, you should really treat everyone with, you should always treat everyone the way that you want to be treated. And really, like, you know, never let people tell you what you can or can't do, or like, really that what you're doing is like, because a lot of people are like, oh, you're like all over the place, you do like design and, you know, styling and blog, and it's just like a lot, but, you know, I still managed to do all of it, and I'm still able to do it all pretty successfully. So I just feel like you shouldn't ever let people tell you that, like, you know, like you can't do something, because even though, like, yeah, like sometimes it's better to be more focused maybe, but if you focus on everything that you're doing, like that's really all that matters. Really, like, hard work really pays off. And so, you know, as long as you work hard and remember that you should never stop learning no matter how successful you are, I think that's like the most important thing. So overall, that's really like my story and my journey, and what has worked for me. So yeah, I hope that helps in some way and inspires you in some way, and if anyone has any questions. Really.
What were some of the barriers to entry when you transitioned from being more of the designer, stylist into the blogging world that you didn't necessarily anticipate? Or maybe not barriers, or challenges that you weren't necessarily ready for, but you faced?
I don't know, for me personally, it was more like putting yourself out there, because like for me, like a barrier personally was that like, I wasn't like, I don't want to say embarrassed, but I was just kind of like, you know, I had worked on a professional, like, you know, I was always like corresponding, requesting, all that kind of stuff. So like for me, it was hard for me to like put myself out there, and I feel like that's something that like is really important to just like go ahead and do, because for me I was almost like, oh, like I work professionally with them, like in styling, like I'm kind of like not a, you know, like I guess in a way I was kind of like, I don't want to mention that, like, oh, I also have like a style blog and like that kind of thing, because I felt like, you know, like what if it like, I don't, it's just like a lot of like, it came from like those kinds of insecurities, because I was just kind of like, oh, I don't want to like put myself on the map and then make it seem like, you know, I'm trying to get something out of them, because that's not the case at all. But like, the way that I thought of it was like a crutch for me, because like, if these people are like your friend, you know, like you're gonna want to help people, like, and I've corresponded with these people, and like I shouldn't have felt like I was kind of like embarrassed to ask for help. And so that's why it's like now I'm a lot more open about like, oh, I have like a fashion blog, if I'm ever able to like, you know, pull pieces or like whatever. But that was like, personally, like my main barrier was like, I was kind of like, I didn't want to seem like, I don't know, I was kind of like, I don't know if you, it's hard to explain, but yeah, but that was like the main barrier for me, really. Yeah.
So what are some of your tips and tricks to gain exposure for your blog or Instagram or any sort of social media?
I mean, really for me, a lot of it is like, really like doing the right tags, and like it's, you know, like hashtags. It's like whenever you're wearing a brand, like make sure like you're like tagging them. Like I also, like a lot of times, like for example, like I love who, what, where, and I'll always tag them on my outfit posts, and then one day they actually like featured me on their Instagram and their site. And so I think it's like a lot of that kind of stuff, and really, you know, it's like a lot of the people you meet, like it's really like, I think it's just really important to put yourself out there, and really, it's hard because it's like, you know, you don't want to seem like you're like, you know, shoving it in people's face, but I think it's really important to just like, wherever you go, like, oh, like check out my blog, whatever, even if maybe like, of the 10 people, like 5 people check it out, you know, it's still like exposure to that. And like, really for me, like I just make sure I always tag like brands, I'm always tagging like publications, I'm always like hashtagging and all this stuff, because really it really does help you gain a lot of exposure. One of the biggest tools for me was reward style. I don't know how many people are on it, but yeah, I always like tag them. I think it's important to try to get like an account with them, because like when you get featured, then you get, you know, lots of feedback, and you know, right, like back to like tagging the brands, like a lot of times like they'll feature you wearing it, which will bring more people to your Instagram, to your site, whatever. So for me, it was a lot of like the tagging and like the hashtagging and just like really putting yourself out there and like, you know, I think it's important to also like go to events, like just really like, just put your name out there, I guess. Yeah.
What would you say are for someone like me just starting out?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to figure out like what are the benchmarks for subscribers or followers or whatever, where you can confidently say, okay, now I'm ready to start, you know, approaching a brand, or I can expect to be approached by brands. Is it, you know, X amount, is it 2, 5, 10,000?
I mean, I never did that way. Like, honestly, I feel like if you're starting out, like, you should just really do research on, like, brands, like, just any brand, really. I think it's important just to reach out to really anybody because, like, you know, it's just like any job when you're starting out, like, you have to work from the bottom up. And so I think, like, honestly, like, with me, like, I started off, like, you know, reaching out to, like, smaller companies, and, like, you will get, like, over time, like, it probably took me, like, over, like, 6 months to really get people to reach out to me and stuff like that, but I think it's important to, like, when you're really starting, like, reach out to, like, small local companies, maybe, see if, like, maybe you can borrow pieces of, maybe, like, you know, ask if you can do it for trade or like gifting, and then you just really have to work yourself way up, or work yourself up to where it's like you can really ask. But I would say like just ask any brand, because like, you know, for example, when I was doing styling, like when I would be on a project basis with like whatever actress, I would reach out, like no matter how small she was, I would reach out to every brand. I would reach out to Chanel, to Dolce, like in my mind, like I knew like probably they would say no, but you never know, because certain projects, like you're surprised by what the brands will say. So I feel like it's always best to reach out to everybody and then really see results, and then just like keep going, because like, you know, over time, like we were working with this one actress, and in the beginning it was really hard to get brands to lend for her, but then it's like the more we ask, like the better the response is. And that's the same with like your blog, really. You know, at first, like when you reach out, like not everyone's gonna want to give you clothes, and maybe sometimes like some people, like, you know, some brands that I would love to wear still like wouldn't lend to me or gift. But I think that you should always just keep trying and really just reach out to everybody, and then just like never stop, because they could say no 20 times, and then one time, like, you don't know, they'll say yes. So for me, I think it's important just to like reach out to everybody. Yeah. Okay, but thank you so much.
Hey guys, thanks for watching, and so glad that you're here. You could just take a moment and subscribe to our channel. You can do it by clicking here, over here, over here, or wherever that subscribe button is. Just click it. You'll get everything directly sent to you, first to know of all things Simply Stylist. Thank you so much, and if you don't, this dog is coming after you.